Good evening everybody. I'm going to take you through digital marketing on Shoestring. I will start by explaining who I am and what I do on a day-to-day basis. And then what we're going to try and do is take what I do for lots of big companies and see how we can apply it with zero budget. How we can actually achieve the things we want to achieve as well. I'm going to take you through this. As I do, I'm going to just a couple of things. We are videoing this, so this will be available afterwards as well. I'll make sure the slides are available, but what I'll also do is give you my email address and my other details, and you can just follow up with questions afterwards as well, and I will give you as much assistance as you potentially need to do these kind of things. I might come to regret that, but we'll see how we get on. So I'll try and make sure you get some good value out of this. If you are completely new to these things, some of this stuff might be a little bit complicated, some of it might be straightforward, but I'll try and pace things according to that. So, I'm a digital marketing trainer and consultant. As part of that, I'm a member of faculty for the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I do lots of training for people like e-consultancy who are a training body, but on a day-to-day basis I work with the BBC, Warner Brothers, L'Oreal, lots and lots of different companies, planning and putting this stuff into place. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through all the stuff that we've learned with them, and then we'll apply it to organisations like yours. And I work with a lot of organisations like yours as well, but we'll take this kind of knowledge and move it forwards. I'll give you all my contact details, Twitter details, email, all those sorts of things as well. So we'll be able to follow up all these kind of things up. So, just trying to keep this as practical as possible. We're going to go through and start to put digital in perspective, what we're actually talking about, how the things work. We're then going to look at kind of 4 key topics, and I'm going to touch on one briefly. I'm going to look at search optimization, which is all about how you get to the top of Google to gain visibility. I'm going to talk about social media, how you can use Facebook and Twitter quite effectively for building awareness. I'm going to touch on email, but because we're short of time, we might leave that to another session or to follow up afterwards. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is analytics, which is a very dangerous thing to talk about at 8 o'clock at night in a warm room. I don't want to keep you all awake. However, I just want to give you some initial pointers of what it's all about and how we can potentially use this stuff. We've got 7 to 9. I'm going to speak for an hour, because I think after an hour of me, you'll probably have had enough. Then we've got lots of time for one-on-one questions. If you want to carry on networking in the bar, obviously you've got the opportunity to do that as well. And then we'll follow up afterwards as well. So, just before we get going, digital marketing is full of jargon, and we are particularly obsessed with 3-letter acronyms. So, I'll point out a couple of these now, but if I say anything at any point that doesn't make any sense, please just stop me and shout out. The other thing I would say is if you're feeling brave, please ask questions as we go through, and I'll try and field your questions as we go through. Even if you think it's a really stupid question, I can assure you it probably isn't. And even if it is a stupid question, I won't make you feel like it's a stupid question, okay? So SEO is the first thing we're going to talk about. Search engine optimization, getting to the top of Google, okay? Really important, actually quite straightforward. So I'm going to teach you how you can do that, how Google works. PPC is pay per click. The stuff you get on the right-hand side of Google. It's how Google makes 97% of all their money. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but when we're working on zero budgets, pay-per-click potentially isn't an option. So we're going to focus on the other side of things. CTR is a measure that you hear a fair bit in digital marketing. It's click-through rate. It's the percentage of people clicking on your ads or clicking on your emails or anything else. It's actually a really bad measure as well, because we don't really care about how many clicks we get. What happens afterwards? Do they actually phone us up? Do they fill in the form? Do they download the thing from our website? We potentially want, so we'll talk about that. Just to confuse things, SEM is my favourite 3-letter acronym. It's a 3-letter acronym for 2 other 3-letter acronyms. So search engine marketing is actually SEO and pay-per-click. So there's loads of confusing acronyms. IM, internet marketing, which means the same as digital marketing, which used to be DM, direct marketing. So just stop me, interrupt, shout out. I'll try and clarify things as we go forward. Okay? And I will touch on these again in a moment if you're scribbling them down furiously as well. So I just want to get a show of hands to get a feel with where people are at the moment. From a personal perspective, who has a Facebook account at the moment? Okay, pretty much most people, 1 or 2 people don't, which is about normal for a business size. Who's got a Twitter account? Whether you're using it or not, but you've got an account. Okay, so 2/3 of people. Who tweets? 5 or 6 people. Okay, so you can start to see the levels kind of coming down there as well. Has anybody got a Google Plus account? Is anybody using their Google Plus account? There you go, 1 person. Okay, which is what you kind of expect. Google Plus, if you're not familiar, Google Plus is Google's own social network. Okay, they're very proud of talking about their own social network. They talk about the hundreds of million members they've got. Of those hundreds of million members, 2% are actively using it. If you've got Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, why do you need yet another social network? There are some reasons for having it, which I'll talk about, but there's a lot of change and there's a lot of different things to think about. So when we're resource strapped in terms of money, but also resource strapped in terms of time, we need to work out which bits of this are relevant. Okay? I'm going to go through a load of different things. Some you'll think, great, some you'll think, that's not for me, that's fine. And we'll try and pick out the things. I'll give you some examples. I'll also say, because essentially I'm self-employed, I've got a one-person business, so I have to think in the same kind of terms. What can I do with no budget? And I'll show you some of the things that I provide and what the return on investment. I'm trying to give you some figures of things as well. Okay. So let's put digital in perspective a little bit. I've got a load of statistics here. I am going to talk you through them, and I'm going to get you to do some guessing as well, and we'll see where we get on. In terms of YouTube, the amount of video that's uploaded to YouTube every day, okay? In terms of hours, how much do you think is actually uploaded to YouTube every day? Have a guess.
Lots.
Lots is the right answer.
Many lots.
Many lots is absolutely right. Okay. Rather than going through lots of random figures, it's actually 8 years of content is uploaded every day. So one of the problems we can have is there's lots of noise to cut through, which is why search optimization becomes important, because we want the maximum opportunity to actually be visible in the first place. When someone goes in, they search for something, we need to actually have our stuff in front of them. However, there's all this content. How long on average do you think we watch a YouTube video for? 10 seconds, 20 seconds? 12. 12 seconds. Any lower?
So how long is the video?
Well, how long do we watch it for on average? Actually, 2.5 seconds.
Oh,
Because the reality is this, we get this figure that 8 billion videos are watched every day. They're not watched, they're started. So you go, no, not enough kittens, no, that's the one I was looking for. So the reality is that's people starting videos, not watching them. So this is where the analytics piece comes in. What are people actually doing? I've had all these visits to my website, are they actually reading my stuff? Are they engaging with my content? Is it actually doing any good? So we need to look beyond the basic kind of numbers. I've given this away, my question mark has slipped. They're not 8 years old, by the way. The average Facebook user is how many years old? So you can guess now, a number of decades.
18.
They're not? 38. Reason being, they have such market penetration, it's kind of middle of how old people can potentially be. So, people also be older, but it's a lot older than Google Plus, I'm going to give you this one. I reckon that had 500 million members by the end of 2012. Now, if you think Facebook has got 1 billion members worldwide, that's phenomenal growth considering how quickly it's happened. Google love to talk about this. They don't love to talk about the fact that no one's really using it as much. But we'll come back to that as well. My favourite one, which I've half given away, but I'll help you as well. What percentage of US children have some sort of web presence by the time they're 2 years old? All that means is there's pictures of them online. You can kind of probably guess it. It's not 32, it's 92.
Good Lord.
So we upload pictures of our kids. My favourite statistic goes to what percentage of unborn US children have some sort of web presence? 47%, because we now upload baby scans. Now, what does that mean to us in practical terms? What it means is a lot of us are online before we're born. There's big privacy implications with all this as well. There's all sorts of issues around privacy and other things we'll come on to, sensitive stuff as well. What it means in practical terms, if I ask you for an email address, you're less likely to give it to me now than you were 2 years ago, because you're more worried about your data and things like that as well. So we'll touch on these kind of things. We'll just talk about how they affect us now. I also want to talk about this, and I'll point you to some resources. Google published lots of data about how people use the web, and what they suggest is this thing called zero moment of truth. What that actually means is research online. Okay? So it used to be, there was some sort of kind of stimulus, TV ad, print ad, we hear word of mouth, we find out about something, then we go on, and the first moment of truth is when we phone someone up, or we speak to somebody, or we go to a shop, whatever the kind of process is. And then the second moment of truth was when we engaged with a product or a service or anything else, and we knew what we felt about it. What happens now is we've got this kind of zero moment of truth here, where we go online and we find out what other people think. And if you think about it, a really obvious example, when you book a holiday, book a hotel, a lot of people, anybody use TripAdvisor?